Your psychic number is your base vibration. This is your instincts, your core nature, and how you naturally experience reality on a personal level. If you're born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th, you are a psychic number 9, and you are ruled by Mars, which is the planet of action, aggression, courage, vitality, and sacrifice. Psychic number 9s have extremely passionate and emotionally intense personalities. All of them are hyper emotional. Do not let them fool you. 9s are the most emotional people on this planet, but there's two ways that they express their emotions. The 9s that come across as cool, calm, collected, detached emotionally unavailable, that they're very nonchalant, they seem like nothing affects them. These are your 9s that have learned how to channel their emotions into something higher, something beyond their self, some goal, some mission, some ideal. And so because they are emotionally charged or emotionally attached to their something that's inside of their mind or some dream that they have, they're no longer affected on an emotional level by the material plane or anyone else that's in the material plane. But the 9s that haven't learned how to do this, these are your 9s that are super sensitive. They're easily aggravated. They're very physically aggressive. They're always fighting with everybody. They're always getting into arguments. They probably were fighting a lot when they were kids. It's super easy to hurt their feelings. They're very emotionally unstable. One day they're crying. The next minute they're laughing. They're very emotionally hysterical. And they're always getting into altercations all the time, several times a day. Those are the crash out 9s are the 9s that don't have something meaningful to pursue. These are your 9s that don't have an ultimate mission or an ultimate aim in life. Because 9s are very aggressive with their goals. The 9s that learn how to channel their emotional energy into their goals or into their ideals or into a mission, these are your 9s that are very calm, very cool, very collected, very peaceful, very diplomatic. But the 9s that haven't learned how to do this, these are your 9s that are very problematic. And this is because 9s are soldiers. They're governed by Mars. Mars is the planet of war, and soldiers need missions. 9s get the most fulfillment from a goal or a purpose or for a cause or a mission. They need purpose in life. They aggressively pursue purpose or their goals. When a soldier doesn't have a mission, they act like civilians. They're chilling, they're calm, they're cool, they're polite, they're diplomatic, they're peaceful. But as soon as they get that mission, a switch flips into their head and they will transform into whatever they need to be to complete the mission. 9s have that same exact ability. They're not just aggressive for no reason. They're only aggressive about their goals. But like I said, the ones that don't have any goals, they don't have an outlet for this energy, and so those are the ones that are aggressive. But the ones that have a mission in life, they're very compassionate. They're very lovely people to be around. 9s have the highest potential for compassion. It's the most compassionate number, more than the 6 and the 2. Because 9s are able to understand all numbers. They're able to literally take on other people's perspectives, and they're able to literally put themselves in other people's shoes. This is why they call 9 the most adaptive number, because it's a combination of all the numbers. They're able to transform into whatever they need to be to complete a mission or to complete a goal or to complete a cause. These people are usually old souls that are carrying deep emotional memory or even karmic residue from past lives. Their life purpose often involves sacrifice, completion, or emotional mastery through either service to others or confrontation. 9s don't live lightly. They're emotionally full, they're intense, and they're wired to feel everything deeply. But they're also capable of sacrificing or transcending personal pain to uplift others. Some famous psychic number 9s are King Von, Chippy Red, Deion Sanders, Brad Pitt, DMX, Whitney Houston, Ocho Cinco, Tom Hanks, Johnny Depp, Adam Sandler, Dr. Dre, Quentin Tarantino, Bruce Lee, and Theodore Roosevelt. If you're born on the 9th, you are a pure flame. This is raw, unfiltered Mars energy. These people are intense, fiery, emotional, and brave. These are the nines that tend to act before they think, and they run off of pure instinct and emotion. Life often throws emotional betrayals at them or forces them to go through violent transformations to push them to grow through pain. These are the nines that are your guardians, your fighters, and your protectors, and they often tend to sacrifice their own needs for others. They can be too hard on themselves, and they can also bottle up grief or anger until it gets too high and explodes, and then they crash out. The nines born on the ninth have the highest likelihood of it just exploding and just spiraling out because it's just raw nine energy and there's nothing to stabilize it. If you're born on the 18th, you are a karmic healer. The one in you gives you leadership skills and it gives you a strong sense of purpose and direction. The 8 in you makes your life karmic, and then all of this is funneled through that 9 energy, which is the healer or the warrior. These are the nines that face heavy emotional or spiritual debt in life. They're likely to experience loss, abandonment, or betrayal, and all these things are happening to these type of nines to trigger an awakening, because the number 18 is a very occult number with extremely powerful occult abilities. But a lot of 18s misuse and abuse these abilities that they awaken to, because 9s have to go through pain in order to awaken, and 18s go through the most pain out of all the 9s to awaken. Good example of this is DMX, born on the 18th. I don't have enough time to tell you his whole life story, but look into it, it's fucked up. And he's one of the greatest artists that ever lived. He's able to he's able to turn that pain into art and influence and heal the world. That's the power of the number 18. One of DMX's famous sayings is survival means to find meaning in the suffering. The meaning that DMX found in the suffering that he was going through talks about that spiritual ability that 18s are able to awaken or become aware of once they go through a certain amount of pain. Once the pain adds up and they realize, like, wait, this is way too much pain for one person. And this is when you understand that the pain that you're going through as an 18, a lot of you guys go through pain, is pain that's going to allow you to develop compassion for other people. So much so to the point where you awaken to divine love and it makes you a healer. 18s possess very active, intuitive gifts, but a lot of them tend to question themselves and second guess themselves all the way up until like mid-age, some even their entire lives. And so that's something they got to get over. They may have healing gifts, especially in psychology, energy work, trauma counseling, or in spiritual guidance. If you're born on the 27th, you're what is called a divine servant. And this because when the numbers 2 and 7 are put together, it creates the energetic archetype of an angelic being. The 2 in you guys makes you guys hyper intuitive. The 7 adds intellect and spirituality, and all of this is funneled into the energy of the 9, which is the healer or the servant. These 9s tend to be more refined, more wise, more selfless, and more softer than the other 9s. They're deeply passionate and they're more drawn to humanitarian, artistic, or spiritual callings. These 9s are extremely emotionally intelligent and they're able to hold space for others without losing themselves in the process. This is something that people born on the 9th and the 18th tend to struggle with a lot, but 27s don't really have this problem. That 7 makes them detached, but that 2 gives them that awareness of other people, and that 9 gives them the ability to relate with anybody. 27s are old souls with a soft and unshakable will, and they're natural teachers, counselors, or healers. No matter what type of psychic number 9 that you are, if you do happen to be a psychic number 9, you will gain the most fulfillment in life when you're able to convert and channel your emotions into something that is beyond yourself, and to submit yourself to some cause or to some mission or ultimate aim in life. And if you'd like to learn more about numerology, just click the link in my profile bio and read my book, Supreme Mathematics, A Complete Guide on Chaldee Numerology. Or if you like a reading, just book a session. You can also find that link in my profile bio.